Hello, friends, students, colleagues, and dear mates. Uh, Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you as we are uh, collaborating across the globe. So, I am very happy to moderate this show for all of you people. And on behalf of Whiteboard Labs, University of West Indies, as we are doing together this event. See, this relationship has been started almost a year ago, and we have done so many webinars, so many information transformation, knowledge sharing sessions with the students, with the professionals, and with the industry leaders. Today, this session is exclusively for the students. That what students wants to be in the era of Industry 4.0. In this session, my esteemed panelists, they have their great contribution towards education, towards industry, with their experience, with their thoughts. I would like to introduce them one by one. I am very much privileged to do this moderation and introduction of my panelists, esteemed panelists. First of all, I will introduce Dr. Subodh Kulkarni. Mr. Kulkarni, can you please put on your camera? Hey, Dr. Kulkarni.
Yeah.
Very good evening.
Hi, everyone.
From India.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. From Mumbai. And good morning to all of you.
Yeah. Thank you. So before we start, I will like to introduce Mr. Kulkarni. Dr. Kulkarni have almost 30 years of experience in industry, in academics. He have played various different roles and different verticals in the professional life, in the academic life. Dr. Kulkarni have done his doctorate in information technology. And he is one of the enabler of information technology in education and banking, and even civil construction. Dr. Kulkarni has been awarded, he have many awards with him. He has been awarded for his great contribution as an enabler in education to modernize the education system in India. And he was also a member in the Economic Council of the Maharashtrian government. Maharashtra is a state in India, and he's from Mumbai. And Mumbai is play a major role to make a policy in economic front in the country. And my second panelist is Charles V. Maynard. Charles, please put on your camera. Yeah, hi Charles. Good evening from India. Can you please unmute yourself?
Oh, I was good morning from Trinidad and good evening to my friends in India.
Yeah, I welcome you, and it is also my privilege to introduce you as well as a panelist in my show to the students of not only from India or from the Caribbean region and a global perspective. See, Charles is basically a founder of ACI, incubation services that a young entrepreneur needs and wants to be grow. Charles have a very good experience in marketing and mentoring and entrepreneurship. Charles have specialization in law also. So these two are our esteemed panelists. So before we started, let me introduce the topic for our viewers, our listeners, especially students from across the globe. What we are facing a new era in this pandemic. That work culture is totally changed. Someone is working from home, and someone is trying to work from home. And in this era of pandemic, but we have to grow, we have to encourage people, we have to encourage society also. In for what? For industry 4.0, that I 4.0, what I say, industry 4.0 is not I think a new topic to everyone. It is now a need of the society, like a vaccine in the COVID. So the subject, the topic for the today's webinar, today's knowledge transformation session, for my two panelists, that they will start their own with their own thoughts, with their own experience, how a student and what a student to be in industry 4.0, and what industry wants from a student in this segment in industry 4.0. So I would request my panelists, can you please start with your thoughts on the topic industry 4.0. So I am hand over to you, Dr. Subodh Kulkarni and Charles V. Manad. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank you very much. So, whom do you want to start? Can we start? Can I start? Charles, can I start?
Yeah, sir. Please.
Yeah.
By all means.
Hello,
Definitely.
Good morning, friends. And this is Subodh Kulkarni from Mumbai. So, I want to go back to my college days, and then I will slowly come back to, I think, today is actually 21st century of 2021. Okay, almost last 1 year or more than 1 year, we are operating from home. So work from home is becoming more popular than going to, I think I forgot even the way to my workplace. So I don't know, I think if I go down and if I want to take my car, I think I have to find out the way to my workplace. Yeah. So when we went to college, those time it was like a knowledge center. And when we got graduated, the plenty of jobs were available. Plenty of jobs. We never had a fear of how to get the job. Okay. There was a couple of jobs actually offered to me, and I selected the job of my choice. Slowly, I think the industry started moving. More and more innovation started happening. More and more technology started implemented. And till 2009, the jobs were available. Okay. 2009, the world has hit with the very bad recession that everybody is aware about it. And from that time onward, not only the job has gone down, the technology took over the human hand. Okay. Many of the industries started moving towards more and more technology. Okay. And technology, when they are implementing, that time the revolution happens. So industry 4.0, when you are saying, it has actually a lot of, I think, transformation of technology and processes. It did a lot of huge transformation overall. And there were actually two fields. One was the knowledge center, or other was the innovation. And along with the innovation, the emerging market was coming up. And that emerging market is never stopping. It is every year, every 6 months, some new technologies are getting implemented. And once you implement the technologies, your processes will change. So for the student, it has become very difficult to cope up with the technology pace. So what to do, what not to do, I think where to go, how to decide my career, many questions have come. But same time, when I'm looking after the youngsters like you, especially students, you are very lucky. You are, I think, the most technology savvy students. You know technology much better than us. Even though I am saying I work with IT for 30 years, but your technology understanding is much better than me. So your grasping is much better than actually our grasping. So today with the industry 4.0, you don't have to look at the institute as a knowledge deliverer, but you have to look at the industry, you have to look at the college along with, or your institute along with the industry outside. And what you have to learn, it is based on the requirements of the current requirements of the industry. You may be actually going to do your own startup. You may go and join somebody else's startup. You may go join and some your friend's business. But even in every case, you have to be an entrepreneur, because whatever you are earning, that will decide your remuneration. In our time, it was defined. It was definitely different. Our time, the industry was deciding our remuneration. Now you are deciding your remuneration. Whatever money you will bring in, whatever I think you will bring into the industry will pay you accordingly. So now there is no actually compromise on the anyone to what you know and what they will pay you. It will decided between the by the win-win situation. So what I want to tell you, you have to keep actually learning the new things. You have to run, not even walk. You have to run along with the technology. Never say I know everything, because if you ask me today, even after actually 40 years, I said I know hardly anything. Because when I look at something else today, actually, when my son is working on AWS, I think he's having so much technology and he's working, I think, almost 12 to 13 hours a day. So it's a totally different actually culture. It's a totally different requirement of the industry. So today you are also very lucky that you are the students of 21st century. It's a it's a century of technology, and I'm sure actually if you can adopt technology more and more, as you are actually having a lot of confidence of adopting it, you're already adopting it, but you never stop. Every time you require whatever is going on in your industry, you have to look at it and you have to work accordingly, and you have to, I think, grasp accordingly. If you can equate all these three things, your learning, your delivery, and what is actually going to come, then you will be the most successful in this 24th century. Okay, I can give it to Charles. Actually, he will have the better
That,
views.
that was a really, really great foundational perspective, and as you were talking, the thought just came to my head. And I thought, we use this word a lot, transformation. And when we hear transformation, we tend to think that we're going to be one day operating one way, and then the next day, poof, we're somewhere different. But and that's what happens. But the funny thing is that transformation often happens right below our watch, right below our eyes, and we are part of it. And it's almost as if we are not aware when it's happening until we say, we need to get this done. And we realize we need to do it a different way. I'll give you a classic example. In my kind of distant youth, I remember it was a challenge when I go out to find a telephone booth, an unoccupied telephone booth, and to have enough change so that I could make my calls on the go. Now, not only do we have cell phones, but without cell phones, we cannot do our job. I mean, I'm sure there are people right now looking at this conference on their cell phone. So transformation, this may sound as a cliche, but I want you to think that transformation begins with me. Whatever is going on in the world, unless I participate, then I will not transform. And if I cannot transform, then I cannot, in my part, drive the transformation process. And if I'm left behind in those two areas, then I am going to left behind in the world of work and also in the world of play. Now I use the word play deliberately because this is the one thing I want you to really grasp. Because we are in the I 4.0, because we are in the digital transformation and because it's driven by industry, this does not mean that you cannot end up or go in the area that you want to. It does not mean that you have to all of a sudden become very technical or become, just focus on technology. What this means is that whatever drives you, your creativity, your skills, your interests, this means that you have to be aware and knowledgeable of the things that can help you do what you love to do better. You have to be knowledgeable and aware of the things that can help you communicate the things that you do, that you want to do. And you have to be able to know that if I am going to do this, and I'm going to do this to reach a certain set of people, we're not even talking markets as yet, to reach a certain set of people, what would be the ways and expectations that they have of me? Now, when we take all that and we put it into going to school, selecting choices of study, how I am going to study. We're all in a lockdown. We never thought a year ago that everybody, just about everybody in some form or fashion would be operating remotely. After we crest this pandemic wave, do you really think things are going to go back the way they were? They're not. So what we have to do, I always say, in almost every great crisis, there's opportunity. And right now, there's opportunity for you to retool, to embrace the changes, but more importantly, is to find the practical channels and the practical ways where you will not be left behind, where you can still continue to pursue your interests, and where you can jump ahead of the curve and know that you are very prepared to deal with Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0, and Industry 6.0.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any words from Dr. Kulkarni?
So I think today, look at the wall, what Charles said, actually, the transformation. I think really we don't know when the transformations are happening. Okay. The most actually crucial words are technology and innovation. Okay. Go back actually 15 years back. Since I worked in aviation, I was managing the IT for the airport. Look at the 15 years back, how the airports were functioning. We were going 3 hours before the flight time, then we were standing in the queue, then we were actually always looking for, I think, will I get the seat? Which seat will I get? Then I think how to check in the luggage? What about my weight of the bags? So many questions were there. Do my flight will leave at the right time? Or I think it will go late? You don't know anything. But today, I think you can do everything from your, I think, mobile phone, your cell phone, and just go to airport and straight walk into your gate and just enter into the aircraft. So the things are becoming so simple and it is becoming so much technology dependent. There is no waiting list. Okay, there is nothing you have to find out that do I have to confirm my ticket? Your ticket is always reconfirmed. So the technology as it is changing, the industry processes will change. And these processes will define the future of the industry revolution, maybe 5.0, 6.0, whatever revolution will happen. But at the end of the everything, if you look at innovation, technology, implementation, the one word is transformation. Everything will go into transformation, and the students most actually likely to do so many things by way of transformation. Even in your study also, you have to keep doing your transformation, because today work from home. India never thought they will have the online exam so soon. Today everything is online. Your learning is online, whatever may be a pandemic, but everything you're learning is online. Your I think assignments are online. Your I think assessments are online, and everything is going smooth. Whatever messed up was there, it was for 6 months, but after 6 months everything has come online, all exams are happening. So I suggest keep watch on whatever is going to come. See, I think few years back cloud computing has come. Immediately after that artificial intelligence took over. Now I think everyone started talking about the IoT, and now the next is already in line is blockchain. So all four quadrants are actually already I
Yeah.
think covered with the technology. So better, I think all you and youngsters keep the watch on technology, the innovations, and keep learning new things. Never say that I want to stop here and I know everything. These two, I think, words you remove it from your dictionary, and I know that you will be always at the top of your, I think, career, and you will do your best. Thank you.
You know what's
Right.
interesting? What's interesting with what you said is the fact that the cycles of innovation, as we move up, as we move through the numbers, 3.0, 4.0, the cycles become shorter and shorter.
Correct.
And that leads me to like a really, really good point that I'm sure, the students are wondering, so how do I, address that? How do I prepare myself? And this is exactly why this partnership, this initiative has come about. The initiative, and I'm talking about that grand initiative between academia and industry. And so like when we look at this connection between the UE Open Campus and Whiteboard Labs and our other university partners in India, what you see here is that we are providing you with our education. We are providing you with the education for life, but we're also providing you for education for the moment. And so if we look at the classic dichotomy, do I get a degree or do I get certificates? I say, why choose? This does not have to be mutually exclusive. We don't know how this world going to swing 6 months from now. But with this facility, with the type of identifying the industry trends, and that is the fuel that powers the curriculum driven between Whiteboard Labs and the UE, right? And those that curated curriculum is what allows us to bring to you something that you can use now, benefit from now, and still not be left out when a new change happens 6 months, 12 months from now. And one thing I want to just touch upon before I finish this part. We understand that you're asking, how do I do this? And how do I benefit from this? And those are two very important questions. And those are two questions that we also have to ask ourselves every day, every time we look at a program, and every time we determine this is a trend that we should have in our curriculum, and these are the skills that we should make sure that we provide so that our students can not just know what's happening, but can own what's happening. And so never stop asking those questions. How do I benefit? What do I need to do? And when you ask those questions, you force us to make sure that we are ahead of the industry trends, but we are also responding to your questions. And those are the questions that shape the curriculum. Those are the questions that shape the content. Those are the questions that refine and define the skills that we all need to be on top of?
Yeah. Okay. I want to share one of the best experience that WBL have in India. When I was a vice chancellor, and the exams of my students has not been happened. It was some unavoidable reasons. So many reasons were there, and unfortunately, in March 2020, lockdown was happened in India, even globally. But the pressure the student feels, the fear factor what they have, their parents and the society. I got numerous calls day to day. I like, I was working like a call center for them. Then what I thought, I discussed this, what you said, it is an opportunity also. Then we have decided to make, basically to enable technology to get the examination or the traditional thing happen to my students. And okay, it is good. Now we are living in 4G network. What in our country, there are few states, there are some foundations politically, legally, and in many other ways. They are even not able to run proper network of 2G even. Then how exam can happen? And what Dr. Kulkarni said, that's why I recall this. Dr. I was maybe I was not the first one, but I was one of them who invented with WBL, and we have tested our software for the online examination in a proper manner. How exam done in a offline mode. We converted all the prospects in an online mode, and my students were from interior parts of the J&K, Jammu and Kashmir of the Indian region, even from Sikkim, even from Northeast, where the network is not so frequent, and we have successfully conducted. This is what the basically a transformation. My professors were not so keen to do this because they are rigid. See, a man is rigid to the change. When they feel it is likely to be happen in a normal manner, and we have done this and we achieved this. This is what transformation is. And in what I4.0, what we feel, it is basically a knowledge transformation. And it's based on your data sciences, your AI, your blockchain is a technology that basically, what you say, not centralized, decentralize the system in a many ways, right? So what I want to say that once you feel that you have to change and you have to adapt with the technology, with the society, with the changes, then you have to do. So as a student, not as a professional, as a student, I would like to ask Dr. Kulkarni also that how I get benefit for myself and for my even for my family, for my society in this pandemic and the challenge and Industry 4.0. What do you say?
Look at the benefits today, what we are talking about. Whatever we are holding one cell phone, it is almost everything today. Okay.
Yeah.
So that cell phone, once you carry, I think you are having everything is on one cell phone. You can do your banking, your child can do his or her learning. Okay, you can keep the track of your all the your office work. You can store all your data, and just by carrying one cell phone, you can do everything. I will go back to again, I think, say 50 years back in India. I think it's a very interesting story. My sister actually left India 50 years back and she went to US exactly 52 years back. Okay. That time, I think in our whole apartment, there was only one telephone. Okay. And the telephone cost was so high. The telephone cost was almost actually $5 a minute, and that is also minimum. You have to talk for 3 minutes, so you compulsory have to pay $15 a month, $50 a call minimum. Today I think nobody is doing a call. Everything is happening on your social media. You just dial your, I
Yeah.
think, Facebook, or I think your WhatsApp. So all, I think, technology is carrying everybody. I don't know, I think there, but in India, average everyone has got a two cell phone in their pocket. They are actually uncomfortable, I think, with one network. So they always carry two cell phones. And with such kind of a technology, you are always connected. It is good, bad, I don't know. Because I found actually nowadays, the students who are going from India to US for higher studies, they are connected with their home almost on every minute or every hourly basis.
Hmm.
So the benefit to the family today, you can actually, you don't have to look at your daughter or son going abroad and doing a study, because they're almost connected to you every moment, actually every second they are with you. Okay. And I found actually my friend's daughter, when even she comes back home in New York at actually 2 o'clock in the midnight, she comes and calls her India that I am back in home.
Hmm.
Okay. This kind of a connectivity you are having, what actually else actually the family is looking for? Family is almost connected, they are tightly connected. And so youngsters are getting more and more freedom. They are connected with their family more and more, going abroad. I think this is what actually the transformation does.
But I will say, Dr. Kumran, it's not just the youngsters,
Yeah.
because my mom is 83. She just turned 83 a week ago.
Okay. Okay.
And she lives in DC, in Maryland, and sometimes in Cleveland, by one of my other sisters. And of course, we have a family chat group. And it's so funny, right? And we talk about how quickly things change and how quickly people become comfortable with technology and how quickly they become expert. Because about 3 weeks ago, my mom sent somebody sent a meme in the family chat, right? And my mom sent back a meme, and then she's like, it's not even trending. And I was like, Mom, you know, she was like, and I was like, I was really, really impressed. It was like a great family joke. But I want to say this though. The benefits that we really want students, and we really want you students to understand, is that technology is great. Industry 4.0 is the channel for beyond. But we're really here to equip you, one, to be able to make your way in life going forward, to deal with challenges, to contribute to your community and country, and to innovate, to build, to create, to continue to dream. And we know that's really the ticket that education promises. But at the end of the day, or I should say at the beginning of the day, we can't do all that unless we help you earn a living that you can afford to live those dreams, to
Correct.
manifest those things. And if we just look at what's happening in industry, between the increasing trend driven by innovation to entrepreneurship, to freelancing, to specialized jobs that do not have a lifetime shelf life, like the jobs of maybe my generation and my parents' generation had. So we have to make sure that you are agile, that you are plugged in. So we talked about some of the areas in this digital transformational phase that we go in, the AIs, the machine learnings, the blockchain, the IoTs. And even within those areas, things are changing dramatically. quickly. So we want to make sure that you have the skills, not just to help transform the space, not just to earn a living, not just to realize your dreams, but we want to make sure that you have the kind of skills that would not go away in terms of demand. So while we will be looking from a technical perspective at what would be the technical skills that are in the highest demand, or what are the skills at fastest growing skills as defined by what the industry is requesting for jobs and all that stuff, we also want to make sure that you are grounded in the skills that when it switches to industry 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, you still have it, and you have that degree of agility, to pivot. And those skills, before we used to call them the soft skills, but those skills don't go away. Where there's customer service, there's a difference between customer service in a physical environment and customer service in a digital environment. When we talk about freelancing and providing technical services to clients of, to customers of clients in the US, in the Caribbean, in India, we have to be aware of the cultural connections and cultural differences. And we have to integrate that seamlessly in the technical advice we are providing or services we're providing. So it's very important to understand that our mission in giving you an education for life doesn't change because we're now talking technology, we're now talking technical, we're now talking industry 4.0. But we are underscoring the core skills that you need that will allow you to pivot as the industry change, as things continue to transform, while at the same time keeping you plugged in into what, as defined by industry, what are the fastest growing skills in demand? What are the skills that are highest in demand, right? And just to go back, Shiv, to what you started with in terms of like being able to communicate and with your students and stuff like that. The important thing is that we have now instant feedback and access to our students, and they have to us. While we were in school, I remember we used to have to make appointments, and the professor would have like maybe 2 hours a week dedicated to student time, and you make an appointment to go. Now you can have that loop of feedback that is driven really by the student and the professor. And so those are the ways that we traverse the digital divide by keeping that personal touch in, because that's very important. We need to make sure that when we are dealing with our students and when we're dealing with you, we have to remember that you are an individual, and our skills bank is something that has to be customized to you, so that now you can go and present your solutions to the world, whether as an entrepreneur, whether as a freelancer, whether as an employee working from remote, or any of the spaces that you thought about you wanted to occupy in this changing world.
Okay. Okay. It was a nice elaboration. See, what I want to say, as a student in higher education, as a fresher even, after completion of my degree, there is an ocean. It is like globally for the job, for the even startup, for the entrepreneurship. Dr. Kulkarni has also been startup 3 major initiatives in India. Right. And you also, Charles, you have incubator.
Yes.
What you feel, Charles, it is question to you again. What you feel as an incubator, what a startup for a fresher, for a fresher, if he wants to do a startup, what kind of capabilities he or she have, so that there is a minimum chance of risk and failure. Because once someone can put their money or borrow from the other agency like banks or from the friends or from the society, there was a huge pressure on a person as an entrepreneur. So as an incubator, as a mentor for the entrepreneurship, how would you like to give your suggestion or your experience to the students who wants to come in this startup?
That's a great question, Chef. My answer might surprise you and surprise everyone.
Okay.
First thing I tell, any entrepreneur, whether they're thinking about starting, or they've been an entrepreneur for years, the first thing I ask them to consider, as like, does this reflect you? Because my first advice would be two simple words: be you. It has to come from you, and it has to reflect who you are and what you are trying, what solution you are trying to put forward in the space. Critical to that, we think about Facebook, and we think about Google, and we think about all these world giants who, are the success stories of, entrepreneurship and accelerators and incubators. But very linked to being you is that you have to find the solutions that will help the space around you. That's almost the most surefire way of success. If you can apply the solution to the spaces around you and improve the quality of life, of services, of offerings, then you get traction. And when you get that traction, now it's all about, how do I bring the skills, the services, the know-how, to make sure I can provide those service or my product. So now I can differentiate myself in the market. And an interesting thing is, when I talk about local solutions for local spaces, the success of which, that is what takes it global.
Yeah.
So when you rethink, make sure that if I could provide this local solution, then I could provide it somewhere else. What are the tools that I need? And this is the part where we call scaling. How do I make sure that I can scale into a bigger space? How do I do that without sacrificing the solution that is local? Because no matter where in the world you are, it's a big global world, but wherever you are, what it is local. So even if you're in India and you're providing a global solution to me in the Caribbean, when I get that solution here in the Caribbean, it is solving a local problem for me. So those are the ways that I would want my entrepreneurs to start thinking about, how am I going to do this? What is the service or product I'm going to be developing, and how I am going to develop this? I'm not saying I don't think that you shouldn't want to be a Facebook, but I can tell you a story about Facebook. Facebook started because a bunch of guys on campus wanted to find a way to meet girls.
Yeah.
It was as local a solution as you can ask for. here we are today. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to look within your local spaces to find a solution and make sure you nail that solution. And from there we could talk. Then we could talk about the technical, then we could talk about the marketing channels, the financing, and all those things. So I told you my answer was going to surprise you.
Yeah. Many thanks. See, what happened in every individual and every human being. See, we have a IQ, we have a EQ, we have basically intelligent quotient, emotional quotient. What happen end of the day when you become an or you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to do things in a unique manner, in a different way? When I was a student, then there was a personality development programs in my college, and my teacher, my professor, basically want to ask everyone what you want to be, and most of the people were saying, I want to be a programmer because I'm from the IT background. I want to be a project manager. I want to be this. I want to be this. And when it comes to me, I said I will start my own company. And they all were laughing. It was an example. What the quotient is, if you want to be a small fish in a big pond, there are huge opportunities. If you want to be a big fish in a small pond, there is one opportunity. So if you think like that, then you should be and you have to be an entrepreneur. You will be a leader. So this is our thought process. Dr. Kulkarni, there was question from the Caribbean side, from the YouTube. The person Michelle Cape, and what said, I think the question on our mind is how we transform and what we want to know with the new technologies. Can you please answer this? Someone is basically trying to get answer from this session that how they will transform with the new technology, what they want to learn with the new technologies. Like you said, IoT, AI. These are the basically these are the concepts and the technologies. But how they will learn from these things and what they want to learn. Sorry, what they should learn.
See, I will tell you from my experience. These questions remain when you start your career. Okay. After that, the thing happens in such a way that technology keep transforming you. You have to run with the technology space because there is no option given to you once you start making your career. Okay. Once I am into some career and my career had adopted some technology, I have to naturally grasp that technology. Either I have to leave that career or either I have to go with that career. So I have to adopt that technology. But at the beginning, when you go from student life to professional life, or I think to your corporate world, that time you have to understand what is going on. What is going on in the market. You have to keep interacting with your friends. You keep interacting with your, I think, academic experts. You keep interacting with your industry mentors and ask them what is happening and where the industry is moving. What is the industry transformation is moving. Then you have to same time find out it is not a compulsion on you. You have to find out what is your liking. And whatever you are liking and whatever the industry is moving in that direction, you have to understand the technology and you have to make the transformation accordingly. Okay. So I was in data center field for I think 5 years. And I was in very much in demand because data center was 24/7. Where today data centers are? Today all data centers are either with AWS or they are with Azure, Microsoft Azure, or they are with the Google. So once I know actually if I want to make my career in data center with Microsoft, I have to adopt the technology of the Microsoft and I have to move accordingly. Okay. And this actually will decide that this will decided by me. But once I decide it, On other side, Microsoft will start transformation for me. Because once I entered into Microsoft technology, naturally, I think whatever Microsoft is doing, they will start transforming me. So the what you know and what you want to do, these are the two basic questions you have to keep asking yourself and keep discussing with the experts. And what is happening in the industry, whatever I think the revolution is 4.0, or I think about to happen 5.0, you have to keep getting the information and you start doing your career accordingly.
Okay.
Is that the answer they want? Because adoption is
Yeah,
happening.
I
Adoption is
yeah I
happening
think
from the other side nowadays.
yeah, basically.
Microsoft.
See today look at the current situation of pandemic. Okay, I was never given any online lecture earlier. I was always I was always used to give the class-based lecture where I was knowing about the Zoom, where I was knowing about the Microsoft Teams, where I was knowing about the Google Meet. Today, by compulsion, it has come, and I have to get adopted to the technology, whatever I think it is convenient to me. So I want to make my career into education. I want to bring I want to deliver my knowledge and my experience to the students, to the youngsters. So I have to find out the way out, what I want, what I'm supposed to learn, what I'm supposed to do. And once I know, I will go, and if I start going and adopting that technology, naturally the next stage will be technology will start adopting me, because technology will have the continuous changes, and then it will start adopting me, whatever the new features are coming, the new changes are happening. So what I suggest, actually, you make sure what you want to do it. Once you know what you want to do it, then I think everything will fall in place. Nothing is difficult. And for youngsters, so nothing is difficult. I have concluded that they know everything.
They sure do.
Yeah, they I think too fast, actually. They know everything.
I want to just pick back up on something that I started talking at the beginning, and you made a very good point, and I just want to really underscore that this technology and this industry 4.0 set of skills, it's not just technical skills that helps you provide a service in a job, or to start a company. It's also the knowledge of the industry, of the industries, I shouldn't say industry, of industries, and how you can reach the people and institutions in the spaces that interest you. So for instance, even if you're an artist, notwithstanding the NFTs that's just developed into like a whole new thing. Even if you're an artist and you doing, normal paint techniques and canvas and doing your paintings, it's still critical for you to understand what I can go and have a gallery showing. And even if I do have a gallery showing, it's just limited to my locale and the people who can come out, especially in this pandemic, but even looking beyond. But if I can have a gallery showing online, now I have to ask myself, it's not just the question of what paintings do I select for the showing, but the question is, what platform do I use? Now, I'm not saying as an artist, you have to have the technical skills to build or develop your platform for online showing to the world, but you certainly have to be aware that there are platforms And then you have to be able to differentiate that, and you have to be able to go find the person who can best provide the platform most appropriate and suitable to you. So this is industry. I think the word I want to use is that Industry 4.0 is very integrative. In other words, it cuts across almost every aspect of our lives. So when we are looking at what it is that we are doing and we want to do, it means that we have to understand what are the skills and where can we acquire those skills to help us do what we want to do and what we do best.
I am very sorry. There was problem with my desktop, so I have reconnected with my phone.
I was wondering. I was saying you
Am
look
I
different.
So that's what we
Actually,
said. Phone is everything now.
sometimes
Cell phone is
technology
everything.
fails. Yeah. Okay. So I think we have gone through the session very well, and it is now almost an hour that we have been discussing about what student wants to be in IE 4.0. And before I ending this, I would like to call Karen. Karen, you please put on your camera. And Karen is a country manager
Morning,
and from UWI. And I would request her to say her words on student life in IE 4.0. So Karen, can you please start?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Shiv, and the panelists for a fantastic discussion. Actually, you all have set the stage for what I'm about to reveal. So, as you know, in movies, there are trailers and there are previews, which give you a sneak preview of a coming attraction. So today, I am just going to give you a sneak preview of what I'm calling a coming attraction for the young person who is interested in the Industry 4.0 future. Unlike movie trailers, this is a highly condensed version of an ideation challenge. And I want it to be timed just at the time when we are showcasing our Center of Excellence between the University of the West Indies and Whiteboard Labs. And the challenge is called Dream On. And I think, Charles, you mentioned dreaming. And I think it was so timely that we kind of in sync with what we are discussing today. So the Dream On challenge would provide opportunities for you, the student, to generate new ideas that could change the world for the better. So your mission, if you do decide to accept it, is to present what the future will look like in a choice of the following broad categories. 1, healthcare. What will the patient experience be like in the next 10 years? How will you make it more accessible? How will you personalize it? How will you make it more effective? The second area is industry. How will processes industry or in manufacturing be optimized? How will you make machines and workers collaborate in a seamless fashion? The third area is the office. You will have the chance to see how offices are changing and how they affect the way you use your home. So Charles mentioned, or I think it was Dr. Kalkani, that sometimes we are living out of our office and we're working from home. So we need to understand what these changes are going to be like. And finally, in transportation, how will vehicles communicate with the environment? What will the conversation be like between the cars and the pedestrians, the stop signs, other traffic? So in my case, I have a pet peeve. I always want something to tell the driver in front of me to please indicate when you're turning. And I think that is something that I would think I will work on for the next industry future. So with that being said, students, you may ask, well, what are you asking me to do? So these are some of the things we are working on. The details have not been finalized, but here's what. We are saying we want you to present your dreams in either one, a single poster image that conveys the essence of your big idea, and it could include a one-sentence description. Or you could write a brief on a single PDF page that focuses on either a human problem from the 4 categories I mentioned, or a process problem. A third area is that you could create an animation or video of your ideas. And finally, you could do graphical sketches of the future state of a product or process. So we are challenging you to think about the future, your future, and to find ways that you would likely affect it for the better. And before I close, I would just like to share with you the trailer for this Dream On challenge. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so thank you all for this
Very
brief
good.
introduction. Back to you, Shiv.
Very good.
That was excellent.
Very nice.
We're not hearing Shiv.
I think Chef's mic is off. But Karen, I have to know that inherent in that challenge is the big C word, creativity.
Creativity, yes. We want to see some creativity happen.
And that's always the precursor for innovation.
Great, yes.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, I am back. There was again a problem with the internet. So please forgive me for that. It was really a wonderful session, and Karen have what you rightly said. It was a good creativity, and what a dream is, and how now we are going to our people, our students, to achieve their dreams. And end of the session, I would like to say a few words, and from Sam also. Sam and camera. Yeah, Sam, I am audible to you. Okay, no problem. Okay. So at the end of the session, I would again like to introduce or to say something about UWI and WBL, what we are going to bring in for the students across the globe and across the Caribbean region and in India also, in Industry 4.0, and of course what Karen says about dreams in I 4.0. We have on customized portal for I 4.0 courses, 4.0 studies. You connect with your mentors, you connect with your even recruiters also. There are so many. It is like an ocean to the students, and we will give our best uh, guidance. We will give our best mentorship to our students collaboratively, jointly with the UWI and WBL to live their dreams, to achieve their dreams, what they want to be. So at the end of the session, I would like to pay my sincere thanks to my esteemed panelist, Dr. Subodh Kulkarni, and for sharing his time, and to Charles Menard, and to share his time and his views also, and to Karen, to the team UWI, to the team WBL, and for the team what we are. So stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you, all of you, and thanks. Take care. We will have a very, very good future. We will have a very good days ahead. Thank you very much.
And stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank
Yeah.
you.
Pleasure meeting everyone.
Thank you also.